The lecture is not created by me. I am just delivering it. From the female side, it was a problem that they said we should have an equal. So, okay, equal. But forgive me, I still have added a few things. Okay, that will be, I hope, more functional for you people, inshallah. Okay. Bismillah. You know your objectives. Remember, the objectives are without lower limb. Why? Because they told me that you have a seminar on lower limb lymphatics. So I said, okay, no problem. I stopped.
Doctor, there is a confusion.
There's a confusion?
I have a seminar
Okay.
on lower limb.
Okay.
But should I include the abdomen? I should not.
Follow your objective. Actually, I do not know your objective. After the lab, you can come to me, bring your objective, we can see it. No problem. Sure. Okay. There are two types of lymph node in abdomen and pelvis. When we say two types, parietal and visceral. What is parietal? When you heard the word parietal, means what? Wall. Very good. Excellent. Wall of the abdomen or wall of the thorax or any wall is meaning the parietal. And the visceral related to
Visceral.
Visceral. Good. One more thing I want to clear before we enter into the lymph nodes area. Do you know what is afferent and what is efferent?
Yes.
Yes.
How you remember it?
Inside, outside.
Before.
Okay, this is stomach. Here is liver, for example. Okay, every organ. I should not say every organ have lymphatics because there are some organs which do not have lymphatics, like
Brain.
brain, CNS, bone marrow, eye.
Hair. Hands.
Yes, so I'm not saying all. Most of the organs which have lymph nodes, lymphatic drainage, they have a group of lymph nodes very near to the organ. For example, this is stomach and here are some lymph nodes of the stomach. We name them according to the organ most of the time. So gastric lymph nodes. Okay. Then for liver we have hepatic lymph nodes, for example. Now, what will happen? Try to remember afferent arrival. A for afferent, A for arrival. So any lymph going to this group of lymph node is arriving. You know arrival?
Yes.
So it is arriving here. Another lymph node arriving here. So afferent. Then the story does not stop here. Then we have another group of lymph nodes, for example. Now the lymph from here is efferent. But for this group,
Afferent.
again afferent. Okay? So make this very clear in your mind. Number one. Number two, remember till one day before Yawm al-Qiyamah that the lymph flows from superficial to deep. Never from deep to superficial. Okay? Sathai to amik. Superficial to deep. These two things you should never forget. Now let's start. There is a group of lymph node known as parietal, which is not only draining the wall, it is located on the vessels near the wall. Okay? What are the vessels here? Where it is located? Abdominal aorta. This one. On that side, right side of aorta, we have inferior vena cava. Good. Then the aorta divides into two: common iliac, common iliac, common iliac. Common iliac divide into
Internal.
external iliac, internal iliac. Again here, external, internal. Good. External will cross this line. What?
Guanal ligament.
Inguinal ligament. Majood where? Anterior superior iliac spine to the pubic tubercle. So here is the inguinal ligament. Good. Behind this, in the mid-inguinal point, this is the mid-inguinal point approximately. After this is known as femoral artery. Femoral artery for the lower leg or limb, lower limb. Before this is external iliac. Now, median sacral vessel, one here. Median sacral vessel here, Why sacral? Because here is the sacrum bone. So median sacral vessel. So these are the areas where we have some group of lymph nodes and we call them as parietal lymph nodes. We'll see the visceral and then I will compare the both. The visceral lymph nodes. Whenever you say the viscera, it means some organ. For example, liver, stomach. So gastric group of lymph nodes, hepatic group of lymph nodes, splenic group of lymph nodes, pancreatic group of lymph nodes, uterine group of lymph nodes, for example. Let us see. Now here is the comparison between the two. Parietal lymph nodes, visceral lymph nodes. Parietal. I told you lumbar group here on side of the aorta. When we say on side, it means
Oh.
pre. Anything pre is in front. So if I have pre-aortic lymph nodes, they are in front. If I have para,
Sorry.
side, but I should remember right para wala left para. So right para aortic, left para aortic, for example. Are you with me?
Yes, yes.
Good. Lumbar lymph nodes, common iliac lymph nodes, external iliac lymph nodes, internal iliac lymph nodes, and they are just following the same vessel which I just told you: aorta, common iliac, external iliac, internal iliac. So there is no problem. The other group, celiac lymph nodes, superior mesenteric lymph nodes, inferior mesenteric lymph nodes. Okay. This is aorta. For GI tract, it will give three branches. Main arteries. Number one, celiac trunk. Number two, superior mesenteric artery. Number three, inferior mesenteric artery. Okay? Celiac trunk will go for here and here. It is going to supply stomach. Here is the liver. With the stomach, it will supply duodenum and also some part of esophagus, the lowermost part. This is the artery of foregut. You have some idea for foregut?
Yes, for
Biological.
hand cut.
Yes, embryological. Foregut, midgut, hindgut. Very good. What is included in foregut? Anyone can help me?
Future stomach.
Stomach.
Okay, stomach.
Maybe our part of the dinner.
Yes, the first part of duodenum we can say. Okay, good. Duodenum has four parts. They have different names, but you will do in GIT. So for now, remember D1, D2, D3, D4. Four parts of duodenum. Okay. So this is going to supply the foregut, the midgut, the hindgut. I will explain all the gut contents. Give me a minute. Lymph nodes of abdomen and pelvis, we are going to deal with two groups of lymph nodes, pre-aortic and lumbar. I told you in the previous picture. Where is pre-aortic? Pre-aortic, this is aorta, make it in front of my body. So here in front, pre-aortic. Like pre-auricular and post-auricular you did on a clinical skill. On the sides of aorta, para, there are lumbar. So right side, right para lumbar, right para aortic, lumbar lymph nodes. Left para aortic, lumbar lymph nodes. Are you with me? Good. Now, the pre-aortic lymph nodes. Sorry for this. The pre-aortic group of lymph nodes, there are three. I told you. Celiac trunk, superior mesenteric, inferior mesenteric. Celiac trunk, superior mesenteric, inferior mesenteric. They are related to the origin of the artery. Here is the aorta, here is the celiac trunk. On the origin, we have circulating or encircling the origin of the vessel. Similarly, superior mesenteric, similarly, inferior mesenteric. So these are pre-aortic group of lymph nodes. They can be seen here like this. And celiac lymph nodes. Whenever you are studying a group of lymph nodes, remember what is the afferent, Here is a group of lymph node from where the lymph is coming. It may be an organ, a multiple organ, or another group of lymph nodes. Then this is the afferent for this group. Now for efferent, from here the lymph will go to somewhere else. Maybe a cisterna, maybe another group of lymph nodes. Like for example, if I have infection on this web space of my thumb and index finger, the first trochlear group of lymph nodes may be enlarged and then axillary. Understanding?
Yes.
So, one group of lymph node can have lymphatic afferents from one organ, multiple organ areas, or a group of lymph nodes. And it can go back to another group of lymph node or a big vessel or a start of big vessel like cisterna chyli. Clear? Good. Celiac trunk receives celiac lymph nodes, they receive lymph from stomach, duodenum till part 2, D1, 2, so half of the duodenum, liver and gallbladder, pancreas, spleen. These are the parts of foregut. If we say tubal part, yani GI part, this is lower part of esophagus, then whole of the stomach, D1, D2 of the duodenum. The associated structures are like this. This is the picture of stomach. You can see some group of lymph nodes. Then every organ I told you have a group of lymph nodes, for example. Not every organ, most. Abdominal organs I can say. So gastric lymph nodes, hepatic lymph nodes, splenic, tohal, and pancreatic lymph nodes will drain to the celiac lymph nodes. Here it is written. Gastric, hepatic, pancreatico-splenic lymph nodes will reach where? Celiac lymph nodes. Clear now?
Yes.
Superior mesenteric, inferior mesenteric. This is aorta. Superior mesenteric artery, inferior mesenteric artery. This one. This is common ileum. This is the division of aorta. Inferior mesenteric artery, superior mesenteric artery. What is the content of midgut? Remember, and you will not forget what is the organ afferent towards the superior mesenteric. We left at duodenum 2. Now, duodenum 3 and 4. The all jejunum, the all ileum. Here is the finishing point of ileum. Then we have cecum, of course with appendix, ascending colon, transverse colon. Here is, I draw a line for you. That 2/3 on the right side and 1/3 on the left side. This is the line for midgut, hindgut. Understanding? With me?
Yes.
Okay. So now see here. Superior mesenteric will receive from where? Duodenum, part 3 and 4, D3 and D4. All jejunum, all ileum, large intestine including cecum, appendix, ascending colon, right 2/3 of transverse colon, finish here. And after that is the hindgut, which will receive the afferent, which will send the afferent to inferior mesenteric lymph nodes. And what is the part remaining? This part of transverse colon, descending colon, sigmoid colon, rectum, anal canal, some part of it, not the whole of the anal canal. Why? Because the lower part of anal canal is drained with the surrounding skin. So the lymph nodes will go there, the lymphatics will go there. So I write here upper half of anal canal for you. Okay? Am I clear up till this point?
Yes.
Good. What I have done up till now, we have dealt with 3 group of lymph nodes: celiac, superior mesenteric, inferior mesenteric. Celiac are draining all those organs which are, or the viscera which are there in foregut. The superior mesenteric, midgut. The inferior mesenteric, hindgut. And you know the all of them, the contents, the organ or the viscera. General plan of lymphatic drainage of colon or any other part, for example. We have different stages of drainage. Like this is the colon. We have one group of lymph nodes just on the colon, like here. Epicolic. Epi on. Epi something on something. Epicolic. So the first lymph will go to epicolic. Then I have given the same colors and same writing material so that you can match, like yellow is the paracolic, for example. Okay? So epicolic, then the lymph will flow to paracolic. From paracolic it will go to these small branches, intermediate colic, and then it will reach either celiac, superior or inferior mesenteric. So this is the plan of. In exams you can sometimes find a question like, if there is a person with a cancer here, the first group involved is fala. The last group, the ultimate group is like this. This is the exam point of view importance. What is the clinical importance? We can stage the spread of cancer. If this is only to the epicolic or paracolic, we have different treatment. If this is towards another group, we have another chances, another option for the treatment. So staging for this is also important. So this plan also helps you to create a staging which you will be dealing with in pathology, inshallah. So this is the basic plan for drainage of lymphatic drainage of colon. Any questions? Any queries up till now? Are you with me?
Yes.
Good. Pre-aortic lymph nodes, efferent, from pre-aortic form, they make intestinal lymph trunk which ends in cisterna chyli. What is this? This is cisterna chyli. Okay. Try to remember like L1, 2. This is the location and 1 to 2 centimeter is the size. So I will try to make your life less miserable. L12 is the location, number 1 and 2, and 1 and 2 is the size of this cisterna. I think you have dealt with the cisterna somewhere.
Yes.
Okay, I will repeat at that. All the lymph from pre-aortic, yani celiac, superior mesenteric, inferior mesenteric, they will make one trunk, lymphatic trunk, known as intestinal lymph trunk. This will go into cisterna chyli. Good? So, the lymph from foregut, midgut, hindgut now is reaching cisterna chyli through one simple duct known as intestinal lymph duct. Am I clear now? Good. Don't think this cisterna chyli receives only one. It receives multiple things. I will show you in a while. Give me a minute. I believe cisterna chyli is like a dawar. It's a roundabout, receiving many inputs. One, up till now we have decided this one. Superior mesenteric, celiac, superior, inferior mesenteric, making one trunk, lymphatic, intestinal, going to cisterna chyli. Good? You can see here in this picture two other pathways going to cisterna chyli. Right lumbar, left lumbar trunk. And at the start of my class, I told you there is a group of lymph nodes on the para-aortic which will make this lumbar trunk. I will explain to you. And then it will again open into the cisterna chyli. Are you with me? Clear? this is all what I said to you just in last 10-15 minutes. In the table form, just to remember, make your life comfortable, that celiac, superior mesenteric, this is their location, this is how they are draining and where they are draining up till cisterna chyli. So all this content I have just delivered to you. Comfortable?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Now where we are going to make this trunk and make it deliver or distribute the lymph to this chyli, this and this, lumbar lymph nodes, the right and left lumbar or caval. When we say caval means regarding to inferior vena cava, aortic yani for the aorta. Lymph node lies on both sides of inferior vena cava and abdominal aorta. And I told you inferior vena cava is here. Okay, so there is a group of lymph nodes here and here. They are known as respectively right para-aortic lymph nodes, left para-aortic lymph nodes, depending upon their side. Number one, they may be aortic, they may be caval on this side, but no caval on this side, because inferior vena cava is only here. The one thing. Then, what is the area of drainage? The area of their drainage is multiple organs, and here is the list of the organs. Kidneys on each side, don't mix both the kidneys. Right kidney here, right paralumbar, para-aortic. Left para-aortic, left kidney. So, kidney, suprarenal gland, abdominal part of ureter, posterior abdominal wall, and if in exam you are not sure this is a male or female structure, so you can write gonads instead of writing testis or ovary, and then uterine fundus and common iliac lymph nodes. I told you previously that a group of afferent lymphatics may receive lymph from one organ, multiple organs, or including even one group of lymph node. So here is the example. This group is receiving multiple organs plus one group of lymph nodes. Okay? The efferent, where they will go? They will make a lumbar trunk here, a lumbar trunk here, and both of them will go to this cisterna chyli like the previous picture I told you. See it again. Intestinal trunk, right lumbar, left lumbar trunk. From where this is draining? The kidney,
Right.
the ureter, the right side of the kidney, the ureter, the suprarenal, and all the list which I just told you is drained by this. Similarly, by this, right lumbar trunk, left lumbar trunk, and three of them mainly are opening in the cisterna chyli. I should not tell you that the lymph from the lower limb also should reach cisterna chyli, but they stopped me to telling. So after this point I am quiet. Okay. This is the picture view of all the list I told you. Suprarenal, kidney, then the upper part of or abdominal part of ureter, posterior abdominal wall showing you a muscle, common iliac lymph nodes, gonads, artery, testis or ovaries, and uterine tube or fundus of the uterus if you have a female body here. So this is the list making what?
Making كده actually the lumbar.
Yes, all these are draining into this lumbar lymph nodes, and they will make a lumbar trunk on right and left side, and it will go into cisterna. Clear? Same like here. All those organs, lumbar trunk, right, cisterna. Left lumbar trunk, cisterna. And you remember this is coming from intestinal trunk. Okay? What is cisterna chyli? Just a quick revision. 2 inches long, L1 and L2. Try to remember L1, L2 only, and this will save your time. L1, L2 is the location, plus 1 to 2 inches is the size. Okay, so you can enjoy remembering 1 and playing with 2. So 2 inches long. Where is the location? Here, just below the diaphragm. Lymph sac around 2 inches. Opposite L1, 2, right side of abdominal aorta. Here is the aorta. This is diaphragm. This is aorta. This is the aortic opening of diaphragm, and here is the cisterna calli. The lower end receives 3 lymph trunks. I told you, 2 lumbar, 1 intestine. Here I write for you. This is the location. This is the opening of the diaphragm. Which opening? Aortic opening of diaphragm, and just below it, 2 inches long, a sac-like structure is mojood, known as cisterna calli. Again, just to show you the picture and show you one lumbar trunk here, and its sternal trunk here, and save as the picture, nothing new. Cisterna calli will have a duct attached to it. Name is
thoracic duct.
thoracic duct, and it is going up and draining somewhere here. Can anyone tell me? Somewhere where?
Left venous angle.
Good.
Subclavian.
Left venous angle. So angle must be between 2 vessels.
Yes,
Which 2?
Subclavian.
subclavian and
Subclavian, left anterior.
Ya salam. Here is left subclavian. Here is internal jugular. And you can see this is the angle of drainage. Good. There may be some variation. It may drain into internal jugular. It may drain into subclavian. But the classical is the angle. I appreciate your knowledge. The angle between internal jugular and subclavian is the site of drainage of. Remember one thing. The least arterial variation we have, the moderate veins, like 2 veins of my hand are not similar, and the most lymphatics have a variation. Okay, so lymphatic system has a lot of variation. This is normal, this is natural, no problem. Veins have some intermediate degree, and arteries usually they have less variations. This is just by the way the point. Whatever I told you for abdominal lymph nodes is mojood here in this table. Just go home, read, and you will find everything regarding what I have told you up till now. Lymphatic drainage of anterior abdominal wall. Do you know watershed line is a simple English word. What is watershed line? Further.
At the end of the bone.
At the end of the bone. Okay, this is very scientific term. I appreciate. I said simple English. Do you know this type of homes?
Yeah.
This is the roof of this home. Good. If the rain is coming, half here, half here. So my umbilicus is actually this line, watershed line. So every lymph above the umbilicus will go up. Every lymph below the umbilicus will go down. Understand this concept?
Yeah.
I think you will not forget it now. So here is the watershed line demarcating that any lymph above this point may be superficial, may be deep. The superficial will go to pectoral group of lymph nodes, axillary lymph nodes, and the deep will go parasternal. Where is parasternal? Here is the sternum. Here are the parasternal lymph nodes. Good? Are you with me?
Yes.
Thank you. So this is the watershed line. Lymph above, maybe sathai, maybe ameek, superficial or deep, will go up from the part below the umbilicus. Superficial and deep both. Superficial will go to the inguinal and deep will go to the external iliac lymph nodes. Am I clear now for this picture and points?
Yes.
And watershed line, the concept? Good. If a person has an infection here, he scratched bad and he had developed an infection here, which group of lymph nodes?
Pectoral.
Pectoral.
Ya salam.
Because superficial.
Because superficial. Where is pectoral? In the clinical skills, you have been told axilla has different groups, different walls, and every wall has a group of lymph nodes like anterior wall pectoral, posterior wall, medial wall, lateral wall, and apical or oval and central, and then apical group. With me?
Yes.
Good. If this lady has an infection here on the breast or the nipple is involved, again
Pectoral.
the same pectoral. Okay? Whenever you are dealing with lymphatic system, try to manage or interact with the area it is draining and go to the area and see is there any pathology there. That is the reason a group of lymph node is enlarged. With me? Good. Lymph node, we finished the abdomen. Lymph node of the pelvis. They follow the blood vessels. Common iliac, external iliac, internal iliac, and sacral. And I told you, this is the division of aorta, common iliac, external iliac, internal iliac, and here in the middle,
Sacral.
median sacral, one vessel. Before going to any details, remember, lymph from these organs will go to their respective group. They will, I told you, from superficial to deep or maybe anti-gravity. So from here, they will reach lumbar, and from lumbar they will reach the chyli cisterna, and I will show you how. This is the location. This is the cut part of hip in a female pelvis. You can see inguinal ligament. You can see division of aorta, common iliac, external iliac, and you can see after this inguinal ligament, this will continue as femoral, and here is internal iliac supplying the visceral organs. And you can see internal iliac lymph nodes, median sacral should be here, and here is external iliac, here is common iliac. So lymph from here will go avulent to common iliac, and then from common iliac will go to the cisterna. Common iliac along the common iliac vessels, afferent from external and internal, just I told you before, efferent to the lumbar nodes, and lumbar nodes will take this lymph to
Cisterna.
cisterna. Easy?
Yes.
Inshallah. External iliac lymph nodes, this group. These are the organs along the external lymph afferent from deep inguinal lymph nodes, deep part of abdominal below the umbilicus. I told you just before on a watershed line, pelvic viscera, and here are the names of the viscera for male and female both. This table will help you to remember what? Too deep, pelvic, urinary, male, female. So these are the contents. These are the organs for external iliac lymph nodes. Efferent, again, like internal, like external, will go to lumbar, and lumbar will go to cisterna. Make your life simple. This is the pictorial view of all this I told you for male pelvis and female body. So all areas have been labeled for you to just see the picture, because I believe the pictures give you more learning than my words. Internal iliac lymph nodes here. Along internal iliac vessels, afferent from deep part of perineum. You know where is perineum?
Yes.
Where?
The last part.
Last part of
Last
what?
part, superficial.
Below the
All
pelvic
is
tier.
superficial.
Good. Last part of what? Yes.
between the rectum and the anal canal.
Yes.
Below the pelvic tier.
Here?
Below the
Pelvic tier.
muscle.
Arabic.
تحت العضلات. Below the muscles.
Okay. If I go here, is tahta al-adla. Good. If I see from here, there is one lower limb, another lower limb, and I'm seeing here, this is the urinary tract finishing, here the rectum finishing, area between them is perineum. Good? Is the same you believe? Okay. So this is plus these organs, pelvic viscera. What pelvic viscera? Pelvic ureter, pelvic part of ureter. First part I told you previously. Then all these organs are going to have their afferent into internal, from internal to common, from common to lumbar, lumbar to cisterna. Good? Sacral, median sacral vessel, vessels. You can see an artery and a vein both. Median sacral. Pelvic surface of sacrum. This is the sacrum bone. Huh? This is sacrum bone. Afferent from cervix of uterus and rectum, and efferent to common iliac lymph nodes. Good?
Doctor, question.
Yes.
Regarding the rectum, doctor, so the inferior mesenteric also drains? So both from the inferior mesenteric?
Yes. When you will deal with the rectum, you will see it develops from two sources. Half from GI tract and one of the part from the other with the anal canal and anus from the lower part. So that is having a different blood supply and venous drainage, and this have a different blood supply, and that is that pathway for portal vein. You will read in GI tract. This is a summary slides giving you all the colors, which group of lymph nodes where. So it will make your understanding more when you will read it alone. Same for male, I have drawn. Try to remember the organs. What are the organs? This is the front, symphysis pubis bone, fat area. Then urinary bladder with urethra, uterus, cervix, vagina, rectum, and the vertebral column with the coccyx here, sacrum and coccyx, and this is from front to the back. Of course, here is peritoneum, and you have fallopian tube and the ovary, the female neck. Well,
For the bladder, I mean in female, is it that the difference is not that big, right?
yes, it shouldn't be.
Should
See
be
this.
smaller a little bit for the male.
See this picture.
Yes, it's a little bit larger in male, but not that much for the female.
Yes,
For the male.
yes, agree. Similarly for male, what are the organs? Shaft of the penis, glans, testis, epididymis, urethra,
What's that?
urinary bladder, and what is this?
Prostate.
Good. Rectum, and the same structures both have similar. Whatever I have told you regarding pelvic lymph nodes is summarized here. You can read, you can remember which part, which area, afferent, where, efferent. Again, a picture just to recapture. A very quick slide for thoracic duct. I know this is not my objective, but just those who wish to revise it. Here is the cisterna cali, and I told you it is receiving 3 lymph tracts, mainly 2 lumbar and 1 intestinal, and then this is diaphragm through the aortic opening diaphragm. Here is the landmarks, okay? What is going here is the landmarks. I just try to mix them. Aortic opening, it will enter, it will go posterior mediastinum, then at T5 it turns, then it goes superior mediastinum, then thoracic inlet. On the back of inlet, it is going to drain into the angle which you said made by internal jugular and subclave. So here it is drained. This is just an overview, a quick overview for thoracic duct. This has been already done with you. Okay. Test slide. What is happening to him?
Abdominal pain.
Abdominal pain. Very good. Which type of pain is this? Can you see the face?
Severe pain.
It's cramping pain. Okay? This is not your objective, but why we are reading all the lymphatic system? he has a disorder called lymphadenopathy of the mesentery, mesenteric lymphadenitis. What is mesentery? The intestines, the colon and other parts, they have two layers of connective tissue which is called peritoneum. Here this is known as mesentery, and between the two layers you have blood vessels like this going towards the intestines and bringing back the venous blood, plus the lymph nodes are in between the two layers of mesentery. Okay, so they can be enlarged like this. Here you can see two lymph nodes enlarged. They can mimic sometime look like appendix, but on ultrasound you can find them enlarged, so you can treat them conservatively without any surgery. This is one of the importances. I need your comments on this picture. This poor girl has,
Mandibular enlargement.
yes,
Nose enlargement.
okay,
Submental.
submental, okay, good. Any other idea? Upper cervical. Cervical is neck.
Doctor, could be involved the tonsillar lymph nodes.
Again, please.
The tonsillar lymph nodes, the jugular-digastric.
Okay, jugulodigastric. Jugulodigastric is here.
But that is fourth is not maybe shown.
It's a little higher.
Yes, submental. Revise yourself. Submental,
Submental.
submandibular, buccal, pre-aortic, or aortic or pre-auricular, post-auricular, occipital, posterior triangular. If you go in tartib, you will never forget. Now, it may be submandibular or pre-aortic, pre-auricular group of lymph nodes. We should examine and see. I told you in the very beginning that whenever you find a lymph node, you should think of the area it is draining. If you find this, which area you think is involved?
The skin, if it's the skin over the periauricular,
Good.
then it's periauricular.
Good,
But the submandibular, we check his teeth and
Good.
his tongue.
good, excellent. Anyone wants to add something? Further?
Also, doctor, the submental could be involved because submental and the buccal they drain into the submandibular.
Yes, excellent. Here can be infection in the teeth. So this is the rough area of drainage. So you should go and examine the possible area of this swelling.
And doctor, could be actually the submandibular salivary gland.
Excellent question. We should be very careful while examining the submandibular area because there are submandibular glands and glands for saliva and submandibular lymph nodes. Glands are mostly palpable, mostly, and lymph nodes are only palpable when they are enlarged. Any lymph node which is not enlarged is not palpable. A normal lymph node is not palpable. You know this. Okay, thank you for reminding me this. The areas where we can have most of the lymph node, axilla, groin or inguinal and cervical. And I told you, they can vary from not visible, they may become visible, or they may become like big enough like this. And they may be available on CT scan or other investigations, MRIs. I need your comment on this.
Breast. So
Good.
Enlarge of the lymph node in the breast.
In the breast. Okay. This is the only best thing I found on Instagram yesterday. Otherwise, it is full of the rubbish material. So here is the breast. This is the mammogram showing you a breast lesion, maybe cancer, with enlarged lymph nodes in the axilla. Are you with me? See this picture and you will be happy to learn it. LAD means lymphadenopathy. What is lymphadenopathy? Any disorder of the lymph nodes leading to their enlargement is lymphadenopathy. Then we will classify, yes, we have a lymphadenopathy of this group. Take a biopsy, take flan test, and try to find this is inflammation, tumor, stage, flan. So general term is lymphadenopathy. And here is the same poor lady with further investigated being with the breast cancer and a lymph node here in the axilla. So it's a bad situation for her. Similarly, if we have a inflammatory or cancerous lesion here, we can classify, as I told you earlier, on the stages where is the cancer and what option of treatment we should have. The local resection, local radio, or whatsoever that is doing. Thank you. This is my email. You are welcome to any questions, queries, and I will be happy to answer you anytime.